Hi, it's Tom from homedollarsfastdotcom. I'd like to give you your free report on the foreclosure process and the five things homeowners can do to stop the foreclosure process. First, defining what foreclosure is. It's a forced sale of a property pledged as a security for an outstanding debt that's gone in default. Basically, the way that the foreclosure process takes place is a borrower will go into default, typically 2 to 3 months behind on paying the bill. The bank will contact the borrower to provide workout options. If the borrower is able to follow the workout options as per the bank request, then typically any additional action on the part of the bank stops. If the borrower continues to be unable to pay, then the bank will file what's called a notice of default, which is when the information becomes public knowledge, and then they continue attempting to collect. In some cases, they will continue also to provide alternative options as far as workout. And then if the borrower is still unable to pay from that point forward, then the bank will have no choice but to foreclose, the home will go to auction, and the borrower will be removed from the property. There's basically five main things that any homeowner can do try to stop or alleviate the foreclosure process. The first is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Second would be a forbearance or a forbearance agreement. Third would be a loan modification. Fourth is the sale of the property. And then 5 is bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy. What deed in lieu of foreclosure is when the borrower voluntarily indicates to the lender that they have no means to repay the debt, and they'd like the lender to accept the deed in place of any remaining debt that's owed. Lenders will generally not accept the deed in lieu of foreclosure unless the property has no junior liens, so no property tax liens, no mechanics liens, no other judgments, and no second mortgages. And it's also very difficult if the borrower is upside down in value. And the other major setback with this option is that the borrower's credit is still destroyed in the same way as if the foreclosure actually took place. Next up basically is the forbearance agreement, and it's an agreement between a borrower and lender where the lender will allow the borrower to become current over time. It's generally only a workable situation when the cause of the missed payments are from some type of short-term occurrence like a medical injury, medical issue, or a very costly repair like a home repair, auto repair. And then typically what the lender will do is either tack that debt owed onto the back side of the loan, or will spread that debt over the next 6 months, increasing your payment and making it a little bit more difficult to repay if you're still under that same situation. Loan modification, this is typically done either by a separate organization or a branch of the current lender, and they'll work to find a loan workout that is manageable and acceptable to both parties. There are a lot of organizations that are doing this type of activity right now, predominantly because of the government efforts to stave off any additional foreclosures. As a consumer, you need to be very wary of any organization attempting to get upfront fees or payment to provide you with workout options, and you must also be extremely cautious of companies offering to sue on behalf of the borrower or yourself and tie the lender up in litigation. This typically results in a failed lawsuit, and in some cases they require you to pay your monthly payment to them while the property is tied up in litigation. You end up with nothing but additional money out of pocket, and you're no better off. Then there's also sale of the property. If there is equity that still exists in the home, then the borrower can attempt to sell on the open market. A transaction must be completed prior to the auction, and it also must cover any costs, penalties, fees incurred by the lender in order for the borrower to walk away without money out of pocket. If there's no equity, owner can attempt to work with a buyer or a realtor to negotiate a short sale. And then if the fees are minimal and less than 2 payments have been missed, it's sometimes possible to put a renter or rent-to-own buyer in the property to satisfy the monthly debt. Please note this has to be used in conjunction with forbearance, and you must take note of any due on sale clause in the original mortgage documents. Bankruptcy is the final option, and it forces the lender to halt foreclosure proceedings till the bankruptcy judgment has been determined and full workouts for all creditors are decided. Main problem, of course, is that credit is still destroyed, and in most cases the home must still be vacated anyway, and any borrower should seek legal advice if this is something that you're considering. Most important step a homeowner can take is to contact someone that can help. It's important to keep an open line of communication with the bank and or be working with qualified professionals who can work in your place for your benefit. A foreclosure will not leave your credit for a significant period of time,